Welcome back to Buckby Land Rover Park for the second game of this big doubleheader between Hobart Zebras and Launceston City, the hosts. We've seen the Women's Super League already going the way of Launceston City by 1-0. And now the two MPL sides will meet in a game that, just like the previous one, was second versus third on the table. But one would suggest this situation for this one, a game of more importance given Devonport just a couple of points ahead, whereas Ulverston absolutely flying ahead. And we could in fact go with an incredibly recent update to that. Devonport have gotten out of jail against the Kingborough Lions. They were down 1-0 in the second half there, but they have won 2-1. Well, 3-1, sorry. Braden Mann striking in stoppage time. So Devonport do move clear on top again on 32 points thanks to that victory. And Launceston City will be looking to draw level with them today. Zebras obviously looking to draw level with City. It's all very tight at the top. And a huge, huge encounter this one today. Anytime these top four sides play each other down the stretch is going to be significant. That's no difference today as we take a look at the Launceston City side to take the pitch. Nico Giantsopoulos in net. So important for this side is the big Canadian superstar in net. Big presence, perhaps not in stature. Aaron Campbell's been converted into a fullback this year. Shane Egan in the team. We'll wait and see where he aligns up today. I'll having a look through that lineup. Perhaps we'll see him slotting in at maybe a back three in order. Or that, or he can play central midfield. Either way, I'm sure that will be revealed early on. Lindsay Millington will partner Liam Scott undoubtedly in the middle of defence. Daniel Sison will be the box-to-box midfielder. Tyler Fisher leading the line. Wow, is he going to be a big threat today? So key to their chances. He's so good. He's got pace to burn. He cuts inside and drives at the goals. He's a real game breaker, is Tyler Fisher, and will undoubtedly be a key contributor today. Jared Linger has come into some pretty good form over the last month or so. Down the left, a clever, tricky player, Noam Ease, just goes from strength to strength every time you see him. Really threatened to tear the game apart in the first 45 last week. Harrison Wicks and Reece Gould rounding out the lineup. Durazio Dyer, Turner, Aldridge Smith, the bench. We'll race through it a bit because we're quite close to the start. That is the City side. We'll flip now to the Zebras. And no real surprises in their lineup. Johan Harutza, big centre half. He'll be partnered by Alex Marquage. Geordie Muller will play central midfield, you'd imagine. The fullbacks, Dwayne Walsh and Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Luke Hughes-Lute will play in midfield today. He'll be in there with the likes of Iski Van Dorn and Jordan Muller. Matthew Pace will probably play out wide. You've got Matty Sanders and Jakob Sklenage leading the line. Sheku Kamara retaining his spot in goal. On the bench, Jake French, James Ackley, Ben Robinson, Lockie Burt and Olaf Conforti. So some good options in there if they want to call upon them. And a pretty strong Zebras side that have come into some pretty impressive form. They fair belted the two Eastern Shore teams over the past 2 weeks down in Hobart, thumping both Clarence and Olympia 5-0, then 9-0. City, meanwhile, after their undefeated start and charge through the first 11 rounds, they've now lost their last two, so they need to reverse that today. As we have a look at our match officials, Stratos Plomaridis, the man running the middle today, with Sarah Dan Hartog and Ian Colhoun, who were on the previous game, will be running the lines here today. Huge game, this one. Incredibly excited for what lies in store. A decisive 90 minutes in sorting this one out. It's all very, very tight at the top indeed. And 3 points today. Going to be absolutely pivotal. We've already seen the Devonport strikers getting out of jail. And now it's over to these two teams. Jeez, I reckon they would have been even more hungry had Devonport drop points. Not to be though, but we're underway here in round 14 action of the MPL Tasmania. Alexander Marquage gets us started. He launches it long. It does look as if perhaps a little back five is in order for Launceston City to start this encounter. Egan slotting into the defence, although now he pushes out. So we'll keep an eye on how they're structured today. Launceston City quite often set up to counter their opponents. Here's Jakob Sklenage, the Czech striker. Drifting inside, Jared Linger. does well and steer that one away. A long throw comes in from Walsh, well read by Millington. He hammers that one away, charging out with Sison. Now Geordie Muller to Riley Dillon. Been so impressive in recent weeks, Riley Dillon. He's added a real attacking threat from the wide area as the fullback. He bombs on and he pegs opposition defenders back. He gets crosses in. And he's set up a few goals over the past couple of weeks. Here's Tyler Fisher. They're going to be paying close attention to this man today. He charges off down the wing here with pace, burns off Hughes-Lute, but couldn't get around Alex Markage. Speaking of Markages, his brother situated in the car park, the suspended coach today. There was some suggestion he was going to be in one of the houses across the road, but he's taken his stepladder and he's just set up in the far corner of the car park today for those of you playing at home. Hughes-Lute nods that one down. Iski Van Dorn has played more centrally in recent weeks. He slides out wide occasionally. Here's Soupy Campbell with a bit of room on the right. Mees a likely target from this situation. Instead goes for Fisher. He nods it down and Sheck Kamara should be able to collect relatively comfortably. It's an incredibly important game at this one. Here's Stone Cold. Riley Dillon to the Calgary Fly, Iski Van Dorn. Back to Dillon. Dillon to Matthew Sanders. Here's Sklenage. Sklenage with a raking diagonal, switches the play beautifully to Pace, and Pace takes it down. He ran at Liam Scott though, showed him a bit too much of the ball. Walsh check there. Wicks. So it'll be Dillon to take the free kick. He's quickly come in and assumed the set-piece duties for this side since his arrival. And it's not hard to see why, watching him strike a ball the past few weeks. That's a good ball for Sklenage, deflects off of Hughes-Lute and collected by Giansopoulos. And there is an example of the pinpoint delivery that Riley Dillon has brought to the table. Those of you who didn't watch the early game tuning in, you'll notice the pitch has been brought in a few yards on this near side. The tennis tram line's in operation. Sklenage, expertly using the body there on Millington. Millington, good recovery. Worked it to Iski Van Dorn. Then was Egan. Coughed it up to Sklenage, trying to weave his way through traffic. And behind it goes for a corner. Just a huge, huge game. So often you see rather cagey openings to these type of affairs with neither team wanting to take a risk, but the way Zebras line up, you can always guarantee they're going to attack. Interesting to see how Launceston City adjust their tactics. Beat them 3-1 down at KG5 earlier this season. It was a cracking game of football, that one, as Dillon swings it in near post, away by Campbell. But Iski Van Dorn has the chance to play another one in. Sklenage with the header. Just wide of the back post. Scrambling was Giansopoulos, and Hughes-Lute was arriving ominously. Iski Van Dorn has the chance, not far away from the Czech Cobra. Giansopoulos had it covered, but Hughes-Lute was arriving. So Giansopoulos. Rutsa over the top of Fisher. Now Iski Van Dorn. Just pulled the pass slightly and worked it down to Sanders. Well done, Jared Linger. Linger wide for Fisher, but anticipating it well was Rutsa, who's formed a good partnership with Alex Markage. Last touch off Sklenage there, so it'll be a throw in Campbell's way. Van Dorn couldn't find Dillon on that occasion. So the throw from Dylan to Colonel Sanders, scored 4 goals last week against Clarence, did the Colonel. Rounding back into some pretty nice form. He's taken his tally this season up to 17 goals. Just an accumulator as Dwayne Walsh's arrival on the ball met by a familiar catch cry from the travelling Shawnee Togula in the crowd there. Belting out his enthusiasm as ever. Big Walshy man. Here's Togsy Senior. Very much enjoys the Dwayne Pipes work. And they've worked the ball forwards here. A chance perhaps to launch the throw into the area. So the long throw is forthcoming. Sanders is the target and he nods it on back towards Sklenage. Rising up was Egan. Scott has time to bring it down in the box and his clearance is blocked by Walsh for a goal kick. So Nico Giantsopoulos, been the hero so often in his time in Tasmania. Outstanding keeper with lightning fast reflexes. It's turned over a little carelessly in the end. Iski Van Dorn then shows too much of it to Egan, who's in full-blooded. Lovely work from Jared Langer, just hopped around Muller. And perhaps asking the question of line advantage was not forthcoming. So eventually play will get back underway. Sison chipping it in dangerously. Fisher was there. Behind it goes harmlessly. So long goes Shek Kamara onto the head of Jared Linger. Hughes-Lute smashing that one away. Liam Scott leads with the foot. Now Matthew Pace. Quickly they turn defence into attack. Iski Van Dorn cuts back onto the left, then swings it over the head of his 2 strikers, Sanders and Sklenage. And a hand of apology from Van Dorn. Needs to offer a little bit more with the crosses into the area. So they look to play out from the back, but they're going to have to start it all over again. Down the line, Walsh will let that one run. So the Dwayne pipe goes down the line looking for Sanders. Fisher positioning himself to run in behind. Jared Linger spreads it out for Campbell. They bring some width here, but Campbell can't get round Stone Cold Riley Dillon, who's off to the races here. He's going to take on Gould, who's Dillon. He charges into the box. What's his cross like? It's a good teasing ball. Millington has been a rock this season, and he was alert to the danger. Steering that one away before Sklenage could pounce. Hughes-Lute offering a run, now Pace. Dillon not overly liking what he's seeing. Eventually he goes to Pace, back to Riley Dillon. Reece Gould feels that he's won the goal kick. Stratos does not agree. Behind it goes. So Dylan over the dead ball. 5 in the area to pick out. One of them's Hughes-Lutz. Nods it just past the post. Rose high and nodded it just wide of the mark, did the big Lukey Hughes-Lutz. Such an imposing figure. And Riley Dillon picking him out to perfection here. Early signs for the stripy horses. Hughes-Lutz, Sanders there. Everyone watches it just wide of the post. Campbell tracks this down. Soupy Campbell. Hughes-Lutz just sits off him a little, and then Campbell takes advantage to drift inside, works it to Linger, plays a tidy 1-2 with Mees. Ricocheted off Linger. Miscontrol behind for a goal kick, but I like the intent of Jared Linger here, trying to buzz about between the lines, make things happen for his team. Cleverly played in the end from Alex Markage. Here's Dillon, everything coming through the former Bentley Greens man in the early going here. Seized upon by Campbell. Hughes-Lutz doing the defensive work. Just gets his big frame in the way and retreats to Horutza. Sklenage the target. Brought it down. Straight to Millington though, and then he can't pick out Mees. No doubt he'll be acutely aware of the significant threats that Noah Mees carries. Dillon down the line for Sklenage, flicks it back in, looking for Van Dorn. Dillon to Hughes-Lutz. Mees working back, so too Sison. Couldn't rob Hughes-Lutz of the ball, forcefully was Egan. And now Dwayne Walsh. Storming forwards is Walsh, the former Mitsubishi medalist. Across to Matthew Pace. Pace drifting inside and just chips it over the head of Iski Van Dorn, who tracks this one down. And kept it in, showed good strength, but Campbell did well. Still fighting on was Van Dorn, and eventually he gets the corner. Dillon swings it to the back post. Fisted away there by Giantsopoulos. Pace is arriving. Crosses, shaping the shoot was Horutza. Now it's just teased back in. Hughes-Lutz pressuring Giantsopoulos. And eventually the foul is blown and the pressure will be relieved. It's causing a few problems with these crosses into the area. They're a very tall side, the Hobart Zebras. Sklenage, Sanders, Hughes-Lutz. In the back, you got Markage and Horutza and Robinson on the bench today, but they are a very tall lineup, the Zebras, physically imposing. They won't shirk a physical contest, which City are always up for, we know. Here's Sanders. To Van Dorn, Iski Van Dorn. Gould tracking him, sliding in again was Egan. Matthew Pace looks up, threads it through for Jakob Sklenage as he brought down by Millington in the box. The penalty's blown, and the Zebras will be given the chance from the spot. But perhaps the bigger concern here is Jakob Sklenage, who's still clutching his leg, getting back to his feet now, so no lasting damage. He's just mistimed that one, Lindsay Millington. His momentum has led him straight through, and Sklenage, the experienced pro, knew that he just had to hold his ground and that the leg was going to come through and collect him. It duly did, and there can be no arguments over that one. So Sanders with the chance to open proceedings here from the penalty spot. A prime chance for Matthew Sanders. Giantsopoulos v Matthew Sanders. He's got a pretty good record from the spot this year, the Colonel. And he's in pretty good goal scoring touch. Sopolis just making sure he puts it in the right spot. Some dispute over the penalty spot here. A few mind games perhaps from the Canadian. Eventually Sanders, who's happy with the way the ball's placed. And the Colonel steps up. 1-0 Zebras, emphatically drives it home. You can't hit a penalty better than that one. And Matty Sanders has the Zebras off and running. Just 16 minutes into this one at Buckby Land Rover Park, and the travelling Zebras fans very much enjoying it. What a cracking penalty it was. Gave Giansopoulos absolutely no chance with it. Emphatically hit into the corner. Keeper's not touching that one. Fantastic from the Colonel. Goal number 18 this season for Matthew Sanders. And the perfect start for the Hobart Zebras. So Fisher back to Syson. Syson to Campbell. Campbell again goes back to Syson. Syson driving forwards and he chips it over the top, looking for Dylan. And Dylan just lets that one run out. Using good strength there. He's stone cold. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Spreads it wide. For those back home, there have probably been a few people inquiring as to Gabriel Marcage's whereabouts today. He had indeed hatched a genius plan, supposedly come up here midweek and scouted out the neighbouring houses which he's going to situate himself, but he's brought the stepladder again and he's in the car park, but has abandoned the ladder and is now sitting on top of the car. So, not really sure why he hauled the ladder all the way up to Launceston. Anyway, it's Launceston City on the back foot early, and in Marcage's absence, his side playing some good football. Here's Campbell. See if we can get a shot of him when we get a stoppage later on as Hughes Loop works it out. So here is Soupy Campbell. Syson. Syson back to Campbell. Campbell chips it onto the head of Mees. Back down to Jared Linger. Snapshot from Linger, but lacking direction. Keep panning that camera around there, I reckon, Vlasta. No, other way. Other way. Back towards car park. Just on the that black car in the car park, if you can capture it. I'm not sure if we might run out of room. There he is. There you go. Viewers at home. That's what you're after. Oh, that's another Marcage brother, would you believe? There's another one of them. The fourth. So there you go for all of you playing at home on Marcage Watch. Purchased a car outside the facility. As this one's flicked over the top by Sanders for Jakob Sklenage. Well away by Reece Gould. Aaron Campbell. Back to Liam Scott. Chodrutza forward. Syson and Hughesley, two real tough customers. Hughesley lunging late. Got nowhere near the ball there. And that'll be a free kick for Syson. The orders being barked out emphatically as Syson swings it in. Dangerous ball, but he couldn't get over the head of Alexander Marcage. Egan, well, he's first to the ball, but he made Jared Linger work for it and let Iski Van Dorn in. So, the artificial light just about taking over at Buckby Park here. It's been a lovely day in Launceston. Lovely conditions, and that evening chill about to come in across the ground, which the hosts are very familiar with at this point. Here's Sklenage. Back to his compatriot, Juan Hurutza. Now Riley Dillon. Slips as he kicks it, and affects it somewhat, and Egan has not got the same excuse as he just punches it straight out of play. Muller going through against Campbell. It's Launceston City entering this game, having dropped their past 2 matches. Though they did outplay South Hobart for a decent portion of that match. Couldn't take their chances in that one. And were made to pay. Dominated Devonport for 45 minutes last week. A bit of banter being exchanged on the sidelines at the moment. Long ball. Away by Hurutza. Luki Hughesloot. Sison, ever energetic. Covers so much ground for this team. The captain leads from the front. He's all action. Here's Harrison Wicks getting a rare start. His cross is steered away by Hurutza. Sanders. Riley Dillon. Up and under. Sklenage backing into Millington, who rises over the top and wins the header. Down to Sison. Sison threading a trying to spring Fisher. We've seen that a few times this year. Sison and Fisher. They've got quite the connection, those two. Muller. Into the middle, Hughesloot. Well done, Egan. He's been brought in just to bolster defensive midfield there. Going to be hard to get through Egan. He's a tough customer. He is Noel Mees. Hasn't quite received the service he would have liked so far. Urging his fullbacks to push on. Long ball straight down the throat of Marcage. Just a lack of direction. And now Marcage to Sanders. Didn't tee up Pace, who'd made the run. Here's Harrison Wicks. Hughesloot. Now Sanders. Liam's got the lone man at home and he might be put under pressure. That's a poor ball for Sanders though from Sklenage. Millington. One back well by Matthew Pace. Wide for Sanders onto that left foot of his. Just a bit too much purchase though. Over the head of Sklenage, and Giansopoulos opting to keep it in, but unsuccessful in doing so. If you're just tuning in here, a penalty from Matthew Sanders after Lindsay Millington brought down Jakob Sklenage. The lone goal in this game, and hasn't been a heap of goal scoring chances in the opening exchanges. The Zebras looking to close within a few points of Devonport again, who beat Kingborough earlier this afternoon, although made hard work of it. 3-1 win there after trailing 1-0. Harrison Wicks. He'll want to make the most of his starting berth today as Sison takes over. Looking for Mees. It was broken up by Marcage, and now Matthew Pace driving down the wing. Back for Geordie Muller. Midfield architect. Oh, terrible ball from Sanders straight to Mees. Muller on hand to steer it away, and Sanders gets another crack at it in attack, and he looks to spring Riley Dillon, who's made a bursting run down the left. His body's up on Aaron Campbell and neglected the ball in the process as it'll lose him out of play for a City throw.
All over him, Maisie.
Stone cold Riley Dillon to Matthew Sanders. Egan nipping in ahead of Sklenage. The back pass. It's got a little bobble perhaps. Giansopoulos for being kind to the keeper there. Did seem to deflect up a little on him. Sanders gets goal side of Scott and then swings across in looking for Sklenage. Pace also there. Falls for Esky Van Dorn! but the foul had been blown in the build-up. Nico Giansopoulos clattered into a no goal. The Zebras fans are up. We'll have a look. Sanders puts the cross in. Giansopoulos gets out, gets to it, and well, just followed through, and it's the knee in the back. I tell you what, maybe a little fortunate. There was Giansopoulos. They are a bit of a protected species, goalkeepers. And perhaps getting the benefit there was Giansopoulos. Whiskey Van Dorn certainly disagreeing with the decision, but he did collect a bit of the keeper, it has to be said, after he had cleared the punch. Perhaps that stopped him from getting back up in the referee's view. Here's Harrison Wicks. Back to Reece Gould. Now Sison. Sison can't find a way through a myriad of Zebras there. Jakob Sklanage was one of them. Played a 1-2 with Pace, who is impressing Matthew Pace. Jaden Hay out of the team today. He gets the opportunity to start. And he's looked lively. He's Egan. The midfield enforcer is just grabbing a little bit too much of Noel Mees there was Juan Harutza. And Daniel Sison near the set-piece duties. His delivery over the dead ball has conjured up a few goals this season. I'm not sure there'd be anyone with more assists from free kicks than Daniel Sison this year. As he chips this one in the Noel Mees direction, just over his head though. Sklanage thumps it away. Here's Lindsay Millington. Out to Harrison Wicks. Wicks to Mees. Mees tried to step around Alexander Markage, who was having none of it. The imperious centre half has really solidified this Zebras defence since coming in. Has looked a very strong performer every time I've seen him. Here's Jared Linger. Down to Campbell. Campbell corralled by Huxley. He just looks to lean in, and he's so hard to get around Luke Huxley because he just puts those long levers in front of you, takes the front spot, and at that point there is no getting around him. That combination of strength and stature makes him an absolute nightmare. His legs go on for absolute days, and once you've let that leg hook around in front of you, it's not too often that you're going to get the better of the Zebras midfielder. So that one just floats straight out of play. Here's Liam Scott. Sends it across for Gould. And Tyler Fisher looks to hit the afterburners, and he continues his run here. Felt he was offside, so decided to leave it. Well, the offside flag seemed to have been raised on him regardless. I suppose he's still running over the ball, even if his hands were in the air. Well, I guess he was interfering with play. Putting hands up in the air doesn't really negate it. So Dwayne Walsh. Long for Sklanage, chests it down. And tries to take it away from Mees, who did really well in defence there, Noel Mees. And then they throw it through for Tyler Fisher. He's on the preferred left and he takes the early shot. And it's just across the face of goal. And that's the threat that City carry, when they can spring quickly on the break with Tyler Fisher and get him into space. No, I don't think they'll be too disappointed if they're funneling all the shots in that direction. It's when he drives in to the top of the D that he's a real threat. That's the area they'll be trying to clamp down on. Huxley flicks on. Whiskey Van Dorn, that was cut out, although it rolled straight into the path of Sklanage. Jakob Sklanage fakes the cross. Tried to find Van Dorn, but Sison doing some good work, track back. And what a free kick. And eventually they get one. Sison stands it up and plays in a dangerous looking ball. Oh, it was Millington sliding in so close to drawing level there. It was a great free kick. Just over the top of the defence, the keeper. Surprisingly not out to claim, and that could so easily have been 1-1. Here's Sison. Sison to Wicks. Room starting to open up for City now. Tyler Fisher. Low driven cross. Plenty of numbers back in the box for the Zebras. Now Matthew Sanders. Back to Pace. Pace shipping it over the top. No one had made the run, and Liam Scott just situated himself back there. Quickly gets it moving to Campbell. Soupy Campbell into the channel for Noah Mees. Turning onto his left and then trying to finesse one to the far corner was Mees. It wasn't the connection he was after, but we've seen him do it this year, Noah Mees. Just hesitates, holds, and then actually he curls one. Didn't quite get the dip on that occasion. Keth just suggesting Sheck Kamara might be taking his time with the goal kick. Eventually he takes it. Sison. Only to Hugh Sloot. Now here's Riley Dillon. Jared Linger busting a gut to get back in defence. Sklanage. Just clipped a little bit by Scott off the ball. Nothing untoward. Muller to Pace. Matthew Pace. Pace opting to shoot, and still going Pace, and he threads it through, still going Pace! He's gone the whole way and made it 2-0, Matthew Pace! What a goal from the youngster. Takes his chance and doubles the lead. Well, the power of perseverance this from Matthew Pace. First shot blocked away, follows up, gets in ahead, and then just combines with the 1-2, and the defence just do not deal with it. In between them. And he makes it 2-0 for the Zebras. And a dream start here for a team. They're in surging form right now, the Zebras, and they've kept it on going, the momentum. This is the toughest game they've had in a while. And Launceston City, who've come crashing back to earth the past couple of weeks. Although they've played pretty well for good portions of those games. They're just being outplayed right now by this Zebras side. They're starting to loom ominously. The real key for them is they've sorted out the defence. That was a bit of a liability at times earlier in the season. A 5-0 thumping by Kingborough springs to mind, but if you look at the team they were rolling out in those weeks when the results stopped coming, compare that defensive unit with the one now. You didn't have Dwayne Walsh, you didn't have Alexander Markage, you didn't have Riley Dillon. It's really solidified them. We know they've got goals in them. This is an attack that can score against anyone. But it's been keeping goals out that's the biggest worry, and if they've solved that, they're going to be major players indeed as we head into the final round of fixtures, which will begin next week with round 15. Everyone playing everyone once more. City, though, can't give up the ghost. They've still got 55 minutes plus in this one to get back into the match. If they can pull one back before half-time, it'll give them tremendous belief. And they're a team who've, you know, played a brilliant half and a bad half, so if they can say, well, this is our bad half, they'll lift later on. Millington! Oh, perfectly picked out again by Sison. Geez, his set-piece delivery's been impressive, Daniel Sison. The people on the end of it just been unable to take advantage. Millington with a big leap. To be fair, he's gone up pretty high. It's a tough one for him, the big centre-half. But asking questions is Daniel Sison. The City captain. Is his heart on his sleeve out there. And you're always going to get 100% effort from him. Here's Hugh Sloot. Lets it drop and then volleys it forward out in front of Riley Dillon. Liam Scott seems to have the situation under control. Faked the back pass and that caused Dillon to slip. Here's Sison. Closed down by Van Dorn. Yeah, buzzing about the pitch at the moment are the Zebras. Pulsing with confidence right now. Look at the sliding block being executed there. Here's Mees, has got an eternity to turn. No one near him, and the big fella just drops it off for Reece Gould. Gould sends it out for Harrison Wicks. Wicks. Here's Millington. Back to Scott. City just looking to get a hold of the ball and have a sustained spell of pressure perhaps. They're not really able to do that. Keep the hold of the ball in this game. Zebras been very good out of possession. Kept their shape nicely. Zebras all huddling on this near side, really. You'd expect them to play down this flank, and they do just that. Sklenage to Sanders. And Sanders, I reckon, might have just been deceived by the second line there. The tram line's in operation here. I do want to get to the bottom of that story. They decided that a narrow pitch suits them, so we'll just draw another line. I'm not too sure. But the pitch is certainly a couple of yards shorter than it was last week, at least in width. Here's Harrison Wicks to Tyler Fisher. Tyler Fisher chips it through for Noel Mees. Noel Mees driving, Kamara parries. Jared Linger, oh, he couldn't direct it gold. Flinging himself in there was Harutza, and then Markage gets it away. Sison to Egan. Out to Campbell. Campbell curls it. Teasing ball, Sison, but Kamara bravely out to collect, and he does well, Shek Kamara. So we have a look at Noel Mees from the angle, driving in there. Kamara had the angles covered before Linger could pounce. Steered away from him, quickly back the other end. Pace threatening again, so too is Sklenage. The City defence able to get it away from them though. And Hugh Sloot probably had more time than he realised there. A few more options. Punches it down to the far corner. So we'll have a look at Shek Kamara charging out off his line here before Sison can get on the end of it. As Liam Scott carries it out of the fence. The fog just starting, well, the mist just starting to descend upon the ground here at Buckby Park. Mercury dropping. As Campbell shapes to shoot, blocked by Markage. Mees takes on Hugh Sloot. And that was blocked by Riley Dillon. And Harutza played out over the head of Sanders. Sklenage really hustling for the ball, and what was going to be a City throw ends up a Zebras throw because Millington forced to clear it. So well done, Jakob Sklenage. That's a tremendous work rate from the Czech Cobra there. Iski Van Dorn back for Sanders. Tried the first time flick. Millington defending from the ground. Sanders did really well and worked at a field. Van Dorn looking to get goal side of Jared Linger. And then a free kick blown against the Canadian. And his compatriot will take over with the free kick. Here's Liam Scott. Sison. Sison chips it over the top for Tyler Fisher, but the height of Harutza comes in handy there. Jared Linger tumbling over an opponent. Dylan checks in on his health, and play was continuing meanwhile. 5 minutes before the interval here. Can City pull one back? Claw their way back into this contest. Zebras looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Sison. Hugh slid away again. Matthew Pace has been causing a few problems for the City defence, and the clearance doesn't get out here. It brings in Dwayne Walsh. He chips it over the head of Van Dorn. Muller might get a chance now. He goes for Sklenage, turning sharply. Sklenage, well done, Millington to recover. Now Pace. Pace again. Hughes somehow worked the ball back to him. He was quickly needing to change direction. The header to Sklenage brings it down. Sysons will track back well for City, but they still can't win the ball away. Zebra's going here, deflected effort behind for a corner. Waziski Van Dorn. And the ball on a string there. City just couldn't clear the area. Just couldn't get the decisive contact they were after. And in the end, it was a Lindsay Millington block that took it behind. Iski Van Dorn. Flicked away to the back post. Huxley keeps it in play. He chips it back in. And it'll be another corner. Optimistic shouts of handball. Three minutes plus change left in the first half. 2-0. The Hobart Zebras leading. Goals from Sanders and Pace have them on course. Curled in. Sklenage rising up. And his header out of play for a Giantsopoulos goal kick. Here's Liam Scott. Egan, who's occupied that position just in front of the defence, switches the play with a lovely crossfield ball, and Jared Linger now looking to get in behind, but once again, they're organised at the back, the Zebras, and not going to be broken down in that manner. Zebras, I think, will be content to just head into the break with a 2-goal advantage here. They're in control. City have got to force the issue, which is not how they play their best football. Their best football is when the opposition has to take the game to them, and by contrast, Zebras, I think, are really going to enjoy City having to push men forwards and maybe opening up those gaps in behind the defence. Campbell. Huxley throwing himself at it. The ball just would not go out. Traversing the line, and then Scott with the backheel nutmeg, but he has gifted the ball to Sanders in the process. Jakob Sklenage. Well done by Campbell, tracking back there to support Millington. And the two will see it away from the check marksman. Using his big frame, Lindsay Millington. And works it in the Mies direction, takes it in strike. Huxley with a challenge that will surely draw a slice of cheese. That was cynical from Luke Huxley. And a slice of cheese for the big fella there. Noah Mies brought rather unceremoniously through the deck, and this is professional fouls. You'll see Huxley just decides he's going to bring the big fella down here. Very late indeed. So Sisson over the dead ball. Where City have looked their most dangerous in this game. Dylan should leave this for Kamara. Check Kamara. Launching it long. Wicks up against Pace. Fantastic first 45 from Matthew Pace. Walsh with the long throw. Pace again looking to play the 1-2, but they've turned it over, and maybe there's a chance before the break for City. Not to be. Markage again in ahead of Fisher. Well done by Wicks, taken away from Van Dorn, but Dwayne Walsh back on it. Walsh to Pace. Pace. Matthew Pace. Oh, in acres of space as Matthew Sanders makes it 3-0. Where was the marking? It's all too easy for the curl. He couldn't believe he had that much room in the box. And Zebras make it 3-0 before the break. And a cruel blow, that one for City, just before the halftime interval. Matty Sanders grabs the second. But you've got to question the marking here. They've all been sucked in field. They're all looking at the ball, and Sanders just sneaks out the back and says, thank you very much. Gee, it's Sopless. Wondering where the coverage was. 3-0 Hobart Zebras. And they are looking the goods now. And what we were expecting to be the tightest of games in round 14 has so far been anything but. As the Hobart Zebras continue their rampant march back up the table, they're in good form. And they are putting City to the sword right now, who desperately need the halftime whistle to adjust, but 2-0 it was perhaps manageable. 3-0, it's a veritable mountain they have to climb now. And there is the halftime whistle. Music to the ears of the Hobart Zebras, who are absolutely delighted with that first 45. And they have got, well, a commanding position to work from in the second 45 now. It's going to be very tough sledding for this City side to get themselves back into it. They'll go back into the sheds and concoct a way to try and find a way to claw back into the contest. An early goal will be the starting point, no doubt, but Launceston City in deep trouble. The visitors have come up the highway, and look the goods. It started there with Lindsay Millington sliding into Jakob Sklenage, just following through, collecting the check striker. Offered Matty Sanders the chance to open things up from the penalty spot, and there's an emphatically hit penalty. You won't see a better penalty than that from the Colonel, who's taken his tally to 19 with another 2 goals in this first half today. As he tries to chase down Braden Mann, who scored 2 goals himself earlier this afternoon. And it was Matthew Pace. He just kept on pushing on, won the ball back, played a 1-2, found a way in between the defence. And it was a lovely goal from Matty Pace to make it 2 goals to the good. And the Zebras getting a raucous reception on the far touchline at the moment from their travelling support and their Super League team over there. And that was 2-0. And then just before half-time, it got even better. The City defence, absolute 6s and 7s. And Matty Sanders left all on his own to hammer home the third to give his side a huge lead heading into the second half here at Buckby Land Rover Park. I'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time, where Launceston City, well, they are in big trouble. And the Hobart Zebras looking good as they continue their rich vein of form. all the past few weeks. That's a good ball for Sklenage, deflects off of Hugh Sloots. And collected by Giansopoulos. Dawn. It was Egan. Coughed it up to Sklenage, trying to weave his way through traffic. And behind it goes for a corner. Radisky Van Dorn has the chance to play another one in. Sklenage with the header. Oh, just wide of the back post. Sison chipping it in dangerously. Fisher was there. Behind goes harmlessly. Races here. He's going to take on Gould, still, and he charges into the box. What's his cross like? It's a good teasing ball. Millington has been a rock this season. 5 in the area to pick out. One of them's Hugh Sloots. Nods it just past the post. Right. Campbell takes advantage to drift inside, works it to Linger, plays a tidy 1-2 with Mees. Ricocheted off Linger. Just control behind, kept it in, showed good strength, but Campbell did well. Still fighting on was Van Dorn, and eventually he gets... Dylan swings it to the back post. Fisted away there by Giansopoulos. Pace is arriving. It was Egan. Matthew Pace looks up. Threads it through for Jakob Sklenage as he brought down by Millington in the box. The penalty's blown, and the Zebras will be given the chance from the spot. But perhaps happy with the way the ball's placed. And the Colonel steps up. 1-0 Zebras, emphatically drives it home. You can't hit a penalty better than that one. And Matty Sanders has the Zebras off and running. Just 16 minutes into this one at Buckby Land Rover Park, and the travelling Zebras fans very much. Sison back to Campbell. Campbell chips it onto the head of Mees. Back down to Jaron Linger. Snapshot from Linger, but lacking direction. Keep ball up. Into the middle, Hugh Sloot. Oh, well done, Egan. He's been brought in just to... Sanders gets goal side of Scott and then swings across in looking for Sklenage. Pace also there. Falls for Risky Van Dorn! But the foul had been blown in the build-up. Nico Giansopoulos. They throw it through for Tyler Fisher. He's on the preferred left and he takes the early shot. And it's just across the face of goal. And that's the threat that City can. Sison stands it up and plays in a dangerous looking ball. Oh, it was Millington. Sliding in so close to drawing level there. Was it Campbell into the channel for Noah Mees. Turning onto his left and then trying to finesse one to the far corner was Mees. Yeah, it wasn't he. Pace. Pace opting to shoot. It's still going Pace and he threads it through. Still going Pace! He's gone the whole way and made it 2-0 Matthew Pace. What a goal from the youngster. Takes his chance. They can say, well, this is our that half. They'll lift later on. Millington. Perfectly picked out again by Sison. It's easy set piece. It caused Dylan to slip. Here's Sison. Closed down by Van Dorn. Here's Harrison Wicks to Tyler Fisher. Tyler Fisher chips it through for Noah Mees. Noah Mees driving Kamara Parries. Jared Linger. Oh, he couldn't direct it. Gold flinging himself in there. Out to Campbell. Campbell curls it. Teasing ball. Sison, but Kamara bravely out to collect, and he does play it out over the head of Sanders. Sklenage really hustling for the ball, and what was going to be a City throw ends up a Zebra. Things have tracked back well for City, but they still can't win the ball away. Zebra's going here, deflected effort behind for a corner. Radisky Van Dorn, his big frame, Lindsay Millington. Works it in the Mees direction, takes it in stride. Hughes with a challenge that will surely draw a slice of cheese. To Pace. Pace. Matthew Pace. Ball in acres of space as Matthew Sanders makes it 3-0. Where was the marking? It's all too easy for the Colonel. He couldn't believe he had that much room in the box. And Zebras make... much luster on his luster.
If it wasn't for our volunteers, we'd be struggling to put teams on the pitch.
Just the time that goes in, it's unbelievable, really.
There's so many different roles on the field, off the field. There's a role for everyone and everyone can be involved.
I see firsthand the time and the effort that all these people put in.
I don't think we could operate without them. The volunteers are key.
I give up my time to volunteer because I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's more than a hobby, it's what I do.
The World Game is Tasmania's game.
Ash just realised I'm going to need to send through a new copy of that particular ad, actually. One of the names got changed. One of the names is incorrect on the ad. I need to do an edit to that one, so there's an edited version I'll need to send through. It's just that one. All the others were fine, but that one you just showed. Don't play that one again. Don't play that one. I'll send you through the correct corrected version of it, because that is not Sammy Watman, that is Michael Monteagle. Yeah, everything else is fine, that was just noticed a bit too late. Yeah, I thought you had the probably, it's not a big deal, but those who do know, it's like, hang on. That's not Sam Watman.
Football was just my world away from the other world. When I step onto that pitch and I'm out there with my teammates and I can just go into battle with them.
And you work so hard and sometimes you don't get the reward, but when you do get the rewards, it's an unbelievable feeling.
There's nothing like it. You know, football, it's got drama throughout the whole game.
It's just exciting when you see them playing at the best and playing with no fear.
That brief 90 minutes on the pitch, just nothing else matters.
The World Game is Tasmania's game.
Goals. So, out of the shadows, the Zebras finally marching back out. The officials, well, I suppose the officials are coming out there on time, but Launceston City have been out on the pitch ready to go for a few minutes here, so not sure if Jez Kent has lit a fire under them and wants them out there raring to go or not. Here you go, Giansopoulos doesn't look too concerned as he strides to the near touchline. Probably not going to be the biggest player in trying to chase down a 3-goal margin. He'll be hoping for a quiet second half, the Canadian. But we'll see what Kent has changed, because they're going to need to have made some adjustments here after that first half. 3-0 the score. They've got it all to do, the hosts. A now pretty cold Buckby Land Rover Park. The mist has descended over the ground here. The mercury well and truly dropped, and Hobart Zebras are well on their way to another big victory. It'll be their third in a row, and be a third loss in a row for Launceston City. So they definitely need a response in this second half. Poor in the second half against Devonport last week. So they're going to need a big improvement on that. But the Zebras have looked pretty imposing so far today. Been a very good performance from them, professionally done. They lost 3-1 last time they played down at KG5, but it looks like they're going to march into City's home fortress and take the points off them, unless they can change all that in the second half. They've kicked off, and it's Noah Mees working it forward. Harrison Wicks wide on the left here, steered away from him by Walsh. Reece Gould with the throw. Here's Mees presenting to it, and he turns back to Egan, who just overcooks the ball, looking for Gould. Walsh with the throw. I was looking for Sklanage. Get past the way to numbers from City. Egan back to Scott. And they spread it wide for Soupy Campbell. Away by Harutza. Sanders spinning elegantly. Sklanage not quite as nice there with the return ball. And Sison ships it out in front of storming Egan. He wouldn't be able to get to that one though. Flicked on by Mees, looking for Wicks. Indeed, Joseph Durazio, I've just noticed, is on the pitch, so they have changed something at half-time, City. I think that went out in a second as Zebra's on the attack. Gould knocking that one away through the legs of Iski Van Dorn. Now Harrison Wicks. Wicks into the middle for Jared Linger, turning onto the right foot and then unleashing one from distance was Linger. Just wide of the post. Confident hit from the youngster. Into the middle for Jared Linger. Get that one on target. The right foot and then unleashing one from distance. And looking out there, trying to figure out who this substitution has been. Because well, I can't see Tyler Fisher out there. I think Tyler Fisher might be the one who's made way. So that would be a huge blow for City. For big name American striker wasn't to come back on. So yeah, he's not out there. Fisher has been subbed off for Durazzi on half-time. So it's going to be all on Noah Mees, and that's really pick a play you could ill afford to lose chasing a 3-goal margin. Tyler Fisher would be the one, so see if we can get some word from the bench what that injury might be. It certainly would be an injury. There's no way you'd take Tyler Fisher off tactically. So the uphill task just got steeper for City. Here's Mees. Syson does well, then puts the cross in looking for Jared Linger, but the height was back there. Hugh Sloot auguring an already tall defensive unit. Oh, Sanders almost so clever to spring in. Matthew Pace, who's put in a fantastic shift today. He's been one of the best on field today, Matthew Pace. Here's Millington. Cross to Gould. Chipped over the top, and Donazio can't get on the end of that, nor can Campbell. A bit wasteful. So, Sheck Kamara launching it long. Scott just getting a little in the back of Sanders there. Spotted by Stratos, and Pace surely can't do that. He started dribbling with the free kick. He's gone hockey style. Taking the play on from the free kick. It's been an idea floated in some parts to try and stop the cynical fouling of your Messi and Neymar types. Just let them dribble from a free kick. It'd be interesting, but certainly, as it stands, can't be doing that. Not sure that's a rule I'd be tinkering with personally. It's a throw in towards Syson. Now Sanders chips it over the top. The flag's raised on Jakob Sklenage. Giantsopoulos quick to take. Sends it across to Reece Gould. Gould to Wicks. Wicks takes it round Walsh. And back inside for Syson. Syson back to Scott. Syson driving at the Zebras and tries to spring in Dorazio. The ball stays in. And then a foul, which will give City a free kick in a very promising position. Another chance for Daniel Syson to swing something in. Yeah, those dangerous moments have come off the boot of Daniel Syson from free kicks. Crosses in. Top of the box is Iski Van Dorn. He lays it back for Rutza. Puts it out in front of Van Dorn, but sweeping across is Gould. Now Harrison Wicks plays the early ball. Trying to catch out Sheku Kamara. I think it's run into by Scott and goes down fairly easily. Which referee says, yeah, no need to intervene here. So have a look here at Kamara and Scott, yeah, look, that was late. Just falls straight in his standing leg there on Sheck Kamara. He's always going to go down if you catch the leg at that angle. It was a bit cheeky from Scott. Coming in quite late. Here's Sklenage. Into the middle for Sanders. Sanders tries to thread it through there for Pace, who's been so good making those darting runs in behind. He's dragging this defence out. Here's Syson. Syson's pass, not on the same page as Harrison Wicks there, had made the forward run. And then Van Dorn just a little too much pepper on that one for Dwight Walsh. So throw in, looking for Mees. He was bracketed by Van Dorn and Hughes. Ludiski Van Dorn, the Canadian, takes it away. And then plays a 1-2 with Sklenage, tracked back by Gould. And the two mates there, Van Dorn and Giansopoulos is given it straight to Sklenage, plays into Sanders! Good save, Giansopoulos. Sharp reaction there with the right glove of the Canadian. It was sloppy out from the back. Now can City pose a threat on the counter. Walshy has it under control, but then coughs it straight up to Jared Langer. He's got to Razio and he couldn't feed him. The chance goes begging. Pace miscontrols. Fell the way of Muller though. Ray Hackett forward looking for Sanders. Walsh. Hugh Sloot. Van Dorn. Iski Van Dorn. Charging off behind Gould is Van Dorn. He's got Sklenage peeling to the near post. He heads there, but Millington had already occupied that position. Shuts it down. Yeah, and then look at Giansopoulos reacting there to Sanders. Couldn't quite put it out of reach. Oh, but Nicky G. So Riley Dillon goes deep to the back post. Hit it back across the face. Giansopoulos punches away. Well done by Egan. Took it away from Hugh Sloot. Back in though. Now taking over Michael Rutzer. Back to Jordan Muller. Muller switching the play for Dillon. Misjudged by Wicks. But they'll get the throw in. Walshy barking out the orders to Riley Dillon there, telling him to get back. Knew his position, the left back. And then hovering down the right hand side. That was a very forceful challenge from Sison. And that earns himself a slice of cheddar. Hearty Gouda, that one. Sison. Just eluded him. Going for the ball. Field was Hugh Sloot. Quite a tall frame. Well, he tumbles. He can look around there ungainly. Here's Dillon. Looking for Sanders. Leaves it. Good dummy in the end. Causes some confusion in the defence, but Giansopoulos able to quickly release for a storming Egan. Egan puts it out ahead of Mees. But Jordan Muller just occupying that spot as he so often does. Sits back on halfway from those set pieces and chops up everything that comes back the other way. Very reliable player in the engine room, Jordy Muller. And he gets him moving forward now to Sklenage. Sklenage for Sanders. Really his game running in behind though. Switching ball for Wicks. Walsh is attacking it. In the end, well done by Wicks. Muller. Back to Sheku Kamara. Kamara to Markage. And Walsh. Muller. Here's Egan. Switching it wide. Also pace. Lost his footing though. But soldiers on. He's got a good turn of his own name, does it, Matthew Pace? Real sharp acceleration from him. Can see why coaches are using him the way they are, trying to get him in behind the lines. Using his pace with those darting runs. So Sheck Kamara, pressured by Jared Langer. Cool. It's the other side of the pillows, the man known as the Cat though. And they work it forwards. Matthew Pace again. Hustling and bustling away. He's all energy, Matthew Pace, and he is making things happen this evening. He cuts back in onto the left and threads it across for Sanders. Sanders pulls the trigger. Parried well by Giansopoulos. It was a good shot there by Sanders. And a driving run from Matthew Pace to forge the opportunity in the first place. He's really catching the eye these past couple of weeks, Matthew Pace. Been a big part player on the fringes of the squad for a little while now, but really starting to come into his own. Just brought the room away there from Gould. And Sanders with plenty of space. Well covered by the Canadian. The corner swung in by Dillon. Hugheslute's there. Good defensive header from Sison. Or not. Must have taken... No, we do have the decision now. Good. That is a corner. Striding across again. He is stone cold, which is probably describing most of the spectators at the venue here this evening. It is rather freezing out here this evening. You'd want to be the spectators near the big fires at the club room end, I reckon. As Riley Dillon chips this one in. Giansopoulos collects, but then dropped it. No harm, though. And he waits for his teammates to spread. And swings it in the direction of Dorazio. He's not quite been able to have the impact of the man he's replaced in Tyler Fisher. Such a big blow for this City side. Already facing such an uphill task. You take out one of the league's premier players. One of the favourites for the Mitzi medal. Lovely turn there. And draws the foul from Millington. Cleverly done by the Czech striker. So long range free kick, and they're going to send the cavalry forwards. Both the centre halves joining in on this one. As Dillon swings it in, Hughesloot over his head. Away though by Gould. Got it to Jared Linger, and now perhaps a chance on the break for City. Iski Van Dorn makes the challenge he had to. Couldn't quite put Linger off enough though. Noel Mee storming goalward, and he fires from range well high and wide. Trying to force the issue there, Noel Mees. It was an ambitious effort from the big fella. It's been pretty well held tonight by Kajan Harutsa. They've done a pretty good job negating his influence through the first hour of this one. It's the Zebras in the box seat. Recapping results from earlier today, Olympia turned a 1-1 half-time scoreline to an 8-1 win over Clarence, whilst Devonport recovered from a goal down midway through the second half to beat Kingborough 3-1 as this is flicked on by Sanders for Sklenage. Giansopoulos can collect. In the Super League 1-0 win for City in the first game here. And a pair of 5-1 victories for Ulverston and for South Hobart over University in Kingborough. As Harrison Wicks looks up at Walsh. Reece Gould swinging it in, headed goalward. Kamara won't be tested by Dorazio's header. So Sheikh Kamara just going to launch it down the middle again. Millington. Muller. Through decisively. It spills out to dispute. Dorazio is there, so is Van Dorn. And eventually Matthew Pace, who just runs out of room, I think. Good action on the Zebras bench. Might be nearing substitute time for them. See who they introduce. So a free kick opportunity here for Daniel Sison. If they're ever going to get back into it, you'd fancy they need something from this. Daniel Sison over the dead ball. Liam Scott peeling to the back post. They go near post. Oh, good defensive header. Jared Alinger back on the ball, surrounded by Zebras. And the numbers win the battle. Muller, Sklenage. Sklenage goes himself and then sends it down the line. Oh, it's deflected perfectly into the path of Dillon, who's just going to soldier on into the box here. Riley Dillon cuts it back. Dummied there, I think, from pace. Sklenage now gets on the ball. Right-hand side of the box. He's got Walsh for support. Works it to the Dwayne pipe, who's just going to curl it in. Defensive header from Scott. And the danger passes for now. Harutza. Back to Muller. Linger has been industrious and he's run away all evening up there up top. He's hustled away, tried to make things happen, but just hasn't quite come off so far and hasn't had the greatest service. The Zebras centre halves have been firmly on top. As Olaf Conforti appears set to enter the fray for Zebras. Here's Riley Dillon. Riley Dillon just put the hand in the back and that gave Dorazio the excuse to go down. And looks like Conforti now will be introduced. And it looks like Matthew Sanders will be the one to make way for Conforti. So, I'm not sure he'll be the happiest customer at the Colonel, sitting on 2 goals and being subbed off, denying him that hat-trick opportunity. But if you're going to bring Conforti on, it makes sense to get one of your attackers off with a 3-goal lead after 65. And fair to say, he's not in a great hurry here, the Colonel. He's just moseying on off. So, Olaf Conforti. This is a dawdle. He clearly doesn't want to come off. Sanders just saying he doesn't really care if he gets a yellow card to lead up some more seconds. And I'm not in any danger, I'm about to get subbed off. Not sure if he's in danger of the 5 yellows with the accumulation rule or not, but he certainly didn't care. I think he's daring the referee to book him there. It was the Colonel. As Syson works it to Gould. Reece Gould out to Harrison Wicks, who's going to run at Walsh. He's going to step over, then shapes across. Walsh sticking to him very nicely. The cross comes in. Iski Van Dorn. Flattered into by Linger. And the free kick going the way of the Zebras. So as it stands, it would be Devonport on 32 points. Zebras jumping into 2nd place on 29 as it stands. Of course, South Hobart take on Northern Rangers at Darcy Street tomorrow. They can also jump up onto 29 points. Looks like we're still going to have 4 teams separated by just the 3 points as Zebras on the attack again. It's a ferocious shot, side netting only. A killer of an effort there from Riley Dillon. Has been good. Reece Gould completely unaware the ball had been played to him there. But Giansopoulos is going to have to retake anyway. This time rolls it out to Millington. Linger wrestling with Markage. Conforti. Back to Walsh. Walsh long for Hughes-Lute. Looks like he might be a more advanced operator now with Conforti taking his midfield spot. Conforti does drive it into the box now. And beats Syson to the ball. And he's passed straight out of play. City entered the day with +5 goal difference advantage over the Zebras. Sklenage almost picks out Hughes-Lute, who made a great run to the near stick. But, with the -3 for them and +3 for Zebras, on the live ladder that has them in 2nd place. South Hobart will be looking to rack up the goals tomorrow, and perhaps they can jump in to 2nd also, but the Strikers surviving a scare to remain clear on top. Here's Wicks. Tries to tee up Jared Linger. Linger. They cough it up to Conforti. Now Iski Van Dorn. Out to Jakob Sklenage. Huxley made a bursting run through the middle. Sklenage now uses Van Dorn as a decoy and then works it into the middle for Geordie Muller. Not overcommitting forwards here are the Zebras. They're not throwing men forward with reckless abandon as perhaps they have at times this season. With a 3-goal lead, it'll just be the attackers. All the defenders seem to be staying back at this point. With the exception of Riley Dillon. Here's Noel Mees trying to get around Iski Van Dorn, and it's a good turn to take him away from him. Walsh slides in and puts the block on. Wicks could make it work for him. Conforti. Now Pace. Fierce challenge that from Campbell. Won the ball back for his side. That's possibly handball against Pace. Ball to hand the call. Markage. Runs into a little bit of trouble, so retreats back to Shek Kamara. Van Dorn. Couldn't find Van Dorn with that pass. Conforti. Conforti, dicey back pass, lets in Jared Linger. He's got Durazio to pick out. And a good sliding block from Alex Markage. And the Zebras staff on the sidelines just urging a little bit more effort, a little bit more concentration. They did seem to have switched off a little. Sison to take. Into the mixer it goes. Keeper claws out of Kamara, diving, can't reach. Is there a penalty? There is! Durazio goes to the deck. And well, we're going to have to sort through this on replay. There's a sea of bodies, and now a shoving match breaking out here. 20 minutes to go. Tempers threatening to boil over. William Scott asking for a booking for Sheku Kamara, but his side have got the spot kick. Let's have a look and see what we can see here. On the Sison corner. It's just a massive humanity there. There's people falling all over the place. The keeper seems to get a bit of contact here. This is where Kamara dives after the ball, doesn't get there. And is he maybe tripping Durazio while he's on the deck, or has someone else brought him down? Something sends Durazio to the deck. The Zebras players don't like it, but yeah, you can work that one out. But Stratos has seen something he felt was a foul in the box and presents City with the chance to pull one back. It's Noah Mee stepping up to the penalty spot. Of course, it was a slightly contentious spot kick a week ago against Launceston City on that occasion, against Liam Scott late in that one, which made it 3-1. Didn't really impact the end game too severely, but Noel Mees can throw a slight lifeline back City's way here and give him something to chase in the final 20 if he can convert. Scored 10 times this season, Noel Mees. So Mees versus Kamara.
17 to go. 17 to go.
The big fella steps up and sends the keeper the long way. It's 3-1 and a slight glimmer of hope for City. They've not got long, but they have some hope, and it comes off the back of a spell where the Zebras were just switching off a little. The levels weren't completely what they were for the first hour. And it's starting to look a little complacent out there. Will that be the wake-up call for them? And can it be something to ignite this City side? They need 2 more goals in the final 20 here. You got one back. Noel Mees, goal number 11. Of course, Brandon Mann leading all comers on 25 after he scored another 2 today. A Matthew Sanders won't be able to add to his tally of 19. And I don't think City will mind who gets them, as long as they can find a couple to get themselves back into this one. Bit of momentum with them perhaps for the first time today. Sison trying to dink it over the top of Conforti. Soupy Campbell. Industrious down the right, and he wins the throw in. Throws it in for the focal point in Mies, throwing his body about there. He did foul Juan Horutza though. There's some action on the Launceston City bench. Here's Kempf signalling to Charlie Dyer to warm up. So we might see the youngster introduced. Knowing stage is probably worth going for broke at this point. You are Launceston City. And that goal has achieved one thing. It's moved them back into second place on the live table. Zebra's dropping back into third. That's how tight it is. Goal difference at the moment. Muller lofting it forward for Huxley to run onto. Giansopoulos comes, and well done Millington. Got back and got the header to his keeper. What a season he's had, Lindsay Millington. And that's a foul. Advantage allowed to continue. None forthcoming, so it will be brought back. Sison swings it in. Mies is in there. And Kamara collects. He launches it straight down the middle again. Oh, misjudged there by Gould. A foul blown against Siski Van Dorn. The reason for why he missed the ball in the eyes of Stratos. Here's Soupy Campbell. He's looking for Linger. Under pressure from Horutza, who then just gets into the back. Well, young Jared Linger, just a throw in though. So now, it's going to be the Zebras. Looking to their interchange bench. Cross from Campbell. Eventually controlled by Dorazio. Now Liam Scott lofts it back to Sison. Sison turning. He's blocked off. Is that another penalty? Must have just been outside the box. No foul even blown in the end by the referee. Much to the chagrin of the locals. Horutza just leaning in. The ball had disappeared, but getting into the back of him. So Lockie Burt is going to be introduced here. In the meantime, it looks like Luke Huxley is going to stroll over at much at the same pace that Colonel Sanders moseyed on across the touchline up. And his former coach at University, just suggesting he might walk a little bit quicker. But a good shift from Huxley again today. We're glad to have him back in the mix, the Zebras, after had some real issues with concussion earlier in the season. So great to see him back out there and impacting games again. As Lockie Burt comes on to just add a little bit more zip and energy. We'll lose a little bit in the air, but some fresh legs up front. Young Lockie Burt. Scott. Mies. Lofts it over the top for Dorazio. And a free kick. They're starting to concede a few fouls in dangerous areas, which they didn't do early on. And that was a kick of the ball away, I thought. Sison asking the question why there's no yellow card, which I think he's probably entitled to ask. No need to do that. Gets away with it. Anyway, Daniel Sison to swing it in. First time today, City applying the pressure here. Well away by Sklenage. He'll get the secondary header too. It's good work from the striker. Doing his defensive duties. Good turn inside. Here's Egan. Mees back to Egan. Oh, couldn't get around Markage, very nearly did. Noel Mees, first time pass, wasn't a bad one. The Zebras eventually scramble it away. And then Campbell's clear. It's almost turned into a fantastic through ball. The foul blown against the Zebras. The bench again not overly thrilled with that decision. Riding every decision here at the moment. Suddenly it's got a little bit tense for the first time. That goal has changed things a little bit. The game's still comfortably in the Zebras' pocket at the moment, but concern and raised voices starting to come through here from the Zebras. They want to make sure they finish the job. And City is starting to play as we know they can. Sison flicked on and eludes Millington. He's just going to let this one run out. Every player believing it was theirs, but quite clearly a City corner. Curls it. It's in the back of the net. It's 2-2. City are back in this. Is Liam Scott, I think. They've got life all of a sudden. It's a one-goal ball game at Buckby Rover Park. Launceston City are storming back into this one. Sison delivers it. And suddenly we have a ball game. I think it's Liam Scott. Scotty's claiming it, but I think Shane Egan's got a case as well. They both claimed it, and they both probably touched it. I don't know who touched it last, though. They can sort that out in the Sheds post-game. Either way, the only thing that matters is that this is a 3-2 ball game. They have snapped to life Launceston City and the Zebras, who were just drifting through this second half in complete control, but they've just switched off, and they have invited the danger. Grandstand finish coming up now. It was either Egan or Scott who got the goal. Scotty wheeled off with one hand in celebration. I actually thought Egan might have, I feel like Scott might have knocked it into Egan then off Egan and in, but we'll revisit that later. Right now, it's the next goal if there is to be one that matters. As the Hobart Zebras have invited the danger in the second half. They've brought off a couple of experienced players in Sanders and Huxley who are good in the air, and they've been brought undone from the set pieces. Harutza now with a sloppy free kick and a slice of cheese as well for Harutza. It's just starting to unravel a little here for the Zebras. It is just coming to life here at Buckby Park. Suddenly it's the Zebras who are desperate. It's City who sensing there's a little blood in the water here. There's a way back into it, another set piece, and they're just inviting danger by conceding so many free kicks in these promising positions. It's where that City have looked their biggest threat all day. Sison's delivery into the box has looked their best avenue to goal from the outer here. And another opportunity from a promising position. 82 minutes have ticked by, 3-2. Daniel Sison goes near post, this time it's repelled. Linger back to Sison. Chips it back in, dangerous ball, Mees is there, well done Harutza. Scott, high boot possibly. Yes, it is blown, the high boot. Thought it might be. And the pressure relieved, but they're holding on now, the Zebras. This is gone from being a comfortable lead to a very uncomfortable ending. And a very high boot indeed from Liam Scott there. And the substitutes on the Zebras bench getting involved, shouting from the sidelines. They're sensing this game that was so safely in their pocket is in danger of being thrown away. What a twist in the title race it could yet be. Sison. Going to be a high boot against Wicks. Play on. Wicks to Mees. Mees to Sison. Sison back to Mees. Takes the bobble, and then that's going to be a corner ball. And another chance to swing something into the mixer. The pressure dialing up on this Zebra side. Can they hold on? What a 180 this game has gone. This is clearly the score again. This is 2 weeks in a row that we've seen absolute domination and every goal at this end of the pitch, just about. So, the wrestling match continues. There is, what have we got? Van Dorn, one player each on halfway. Well, now in their own half, Giansopoulos on halfway. Everyone else is in the box or at the top of the box. They have flung men forward here. Good luck sorting this mess out in the box, Stratos. And I reckon Syson's just got to kill this one in the mixer and anything could happen. There is just bodies absolutely everywhere. Syson to send it in. To the back post. Not wide, will it be another corner? It will. The assault continues. The bombardment. It's Launceston City fighting their way back into this one from 3-0 down. Suddenly it's a 3-2 game in the dying embers. City were dead and buried. Not quite yet cremated though, apparently, because they have come roaring back into it. Giansopoulos is up there. The keeper's got involved. It's only the 86th minute. Scenes. Swings it in. Giansopoulos is there. Lands in the box. The back heel blocked away. Now Giansopoulos has to scramble back. Van Dorn will give chase. But this should be controlled by Gould and is to Campbell. Campbell surging forward. Shows a lot of it to Walsh. Sliding it was Conforti. And a throw in for Launceston City, who are taking each other out now. This game has burst into life. Frenetic stuff all of a sudden. And Noel Mees looking to skip around markage. And with a free kick for a hand in the face. Didn't get one. Chested down by Harutza. Sends it out in the pace direction. So prominent in building this 3-goal lead was pace. Can he get them the sealer? He can't because he's lost it to Egan. Well soldiered on by pace though. Scrapping away there and then lofted forward. It's a 2v2. Who's first to the fall of it? It's Gould. He smashes it forward. Only Zebra's back there. Conforti to Van Dorn. Miscontrolled. There's some tired bodies out there. Harrison Wicks looks up. He's still full of running. Harrison Wicks. Iski Van Dorn tracks him. And he's just slipped over there. And Iski Van Dorn is going to be able to power off with it and play the ball in towards Jakob Sklenage. He works it out to Matthew Pace. Not a bad option. Skips around Egan. Matthew Pace driving its pace straight at Giansopoulos. And sitting now to counter again. Soupy Campbell looks up. Drives it straight into the teeth of the Zebras' defence. The second ball though fell to Scott. Syson wants it played to the back post. Instead he goes down the line for Mees. That was broken up. Sklenage. Well, there's numbers here. If Zebras can get a move along, they're not showing much intent to get forwards. Perhaps just happy to take some seconds off the clock. Here is Muller. He hasn't kept that in. He thought he'd wriggle free. They had a 3v2 developing and Muller just opted to hold it up, which I guess would be a natural instinct at this point of the game, but had he got it forwards, they might have been able to land that killer blow. Anyway, City rolling the dice and keeping 4 men forward, pretty much parked on the last line of the Zebras' defence. Here's Liam Scott carrying it out and spreads it wide. Zebras have slowed to a stop here. It's City forcing the issue. Wicks falls for Linger. Jared Linger takes it inside. Waved by Conforti to Kamara. And Kamara will just calm things down for a second as we go past 88 minutes. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to come. 4-5-1 the instruction from the Zebras touchline. Here's Campbell. Soupy Campbell threading it through. Harutza away. Straight to Noel Mees though. He couldn't find his way through the Zebras' defence. And now charging back the other way is Conforti. Conforti to Sklanage. It's a bit narrow, but they've got numbers. Van Dorn now just punts it out there into the corner for Conforti to chase. He can't keep it in the field of play. Sklanage calling for cooler heads. Millington to Sison. Sison drives it in, looking for the run of Dorazio. Dillon with a crucial intervention. Now wide for Campbell. Swings it back in. Conforti with the header. Sison away from him by Markage. Millington. And here could be the killer blow. Matthew Pace versus Millington. Giansopoulos is off his line. Misdirects the clearance a little, but at least gets it away from Pace. That'll give Zebras the chance to kill off some precious seconds though. In the final minute of the 90, 3 goals to 2. The Zebras led this game 3 goals to 0. It's been an inspired fight back, but will it be too late? James Ackley preparing to come on. Now it looks like he's going to swap with Matthew Pace, who, like the 2 other substitutes, is in no rush whatsoever. Now surely, given we're ticking into the 90 now, this would be pretty easy to just add to stoppage time. Some convenient cramp. I think the City camp are keen to make sure that and now City are going to make a sub. Charlie Dyer is going to replace Harrison Wicks. So Launceston City make a late switch. And Charlie Dyer, proven inspired substitution from Jez Kempf. So for the last minute, nothing has happened. So surely that needs to be factored into the added time here. When this started, it was 80.5 minutes. Oh, sorry, 89.5 minutes. It'll be very long indeed. It was 80.5. Here's Walsh. Just heading for the corner flag, and why not? Uses his strength, works it in, and then hack clear, but outside, which will give them the chance to eat up a few more seconds. Markage now standing on the car in the corner. Into the box for Sklanage. Sison, did he keep it in? He did, but Walsh got in there. Sison plays it off of Walsh, and they get the goal kick, and now they'll stream forwards. Giansopoulos to knock it long. Well, no, Scott on short, surely. Will be closed down by Ackley. Sends it further afield for Campbell. Lets it run. Dorazio deflected awkwardly into the path of Muller. And now the Zebras have got numbers, but surely they'll go corner flag. Stone cold Riley Dillon. He's just going to freeze a little bit of time. Cross to the back post. Sklanage! Oh, he's played it backwards. Dillon couldn't keep it in. And knocked it away from Giansopoulos. Well, that would have been the knockout blow from Sklanage, but he just couldn't direct it goalward. 92 minutes gone. Sison wide on the left. Just needs to knock this one long. He sends it down the line for Dyer, who desperately tried to keep it in, but he couldn't quite do so. Walsh. Dyer. Linger flicks it on. Stone cold Riley Dillon. That'll come down with snow on it. Onto the head of Mees. Forceful header. Markage's header puts him under pressure, but then composed stuff back to Kamara. Riley Dillon wants someone to head to the corner so he can just knock it down in that direction. 2 players head there. But Liam Scott is first back for City. Worked it to Egan, who played it off, but it matters not. It's all over. It was a brave fight back from City, but Zebras did the job early enough. They built the lead, and it holds out, although only just. They were given an almighty fright by Launceston City at the death, but it's the Zebras who hold on and join them on 29 points. The 2 late goals do ensure City will remain in second place with the Zebras in third, but they're now level on points. It's 3 wins in a row for the Zebras. It's 3 losses in a row for City to end round 14 and the second full round of fixtures for both these sides. Everyone to play each other once more. And these two will start, as they did at the start of the year, locked on points. As we have a look at the goals today, the first a penalty. It was Sklenage brought down, giving Matthew Sanders the opportunity from the penalty spot. All the action taking place at the clubroom end of the grounds, which the spectators I'm sure are appreciating down there. The Zebras appreciating Sanders' work there from the penalty spot. Put them off to a flying start, and then it was 2-0 shortly thereafter. Matthew Pace combining well, his first shot blocked, then plays a good one too with Sanders. And firing home the second of the day. Good day for Sanders, 2 goals and the assist. And 2-0, and then just before half-time, Zebras made it 3-0. At this point, it looked the ball game. Much like last week, the game would change in the second half, but it was all one-way traffic at this point. The Colonel deposits that one home. 3-0 to Hobart Zebras. And really, until the midway point of that second half, that is very much the story of the game. It was 3-0. It was looking like the Zebras were utterly comfortable, but they were showing signs they were just switching off a little bit. They were getting a tad sloppy. And then a penalty was spotted in the box. Tarazio brought down. The Zebras didn't like it. It was just bodies everywhere. And that offered Noah Mees the chance from the penalty spot. And he makes it 3-1. Gave him a brief glimmer, but at that point it did really only seem a glimmer. They'd not offered a whole lot up to that point of the game. But the pressure dialed up from that moment on. They really had them under the cushion, those dying moments. I think we're 1 goal short there by my recollection. That pulled it back to 3-1. And we'll get the goal from the corner in a second. It was either Liam Scott or Shane Egan who got the header on it. One of the 2 big fellas here. Here it is, 3-2. They've all chipped in. I reckon it's Egan. Scott puts the hand up and he wheels away. Egan also looks like he's claiming it. Yeah, I reckon Egan's got it, but the teammates have been sucked in. Yeah, I reckon that's Egan's goal. So, 3-2, the final score here. In an entertaining day at Buckby Land Rover Park. A huge victory for the Hobart Zebras, who are building momentum nicely. City, again, an honourable defeat. But another big loss to a title rival. And their advantage is now gone. They're now 3 points behind atop the table after 14 weeks of the season. So that's it from us here at Slice of Cheese and the Buy on Stream Dream Team of Ash and Bluster, bringing you these pictures for another week. We'll be back next week. I think we've got South Hobart Zebras next week from memory. Another one of those big top 4 games. Until then, though, stay tuned to Slice of Cheese for all your NPL and WSL coverage. And from a cold Buckby Land Rover Park, it was Hobart Zebras continuing their climb up the table with a 3-2 win.